For a long time, I thought I had the perfect marriage. My husband, Mark, was charming, successful, and always seemed to know the right thing to say. We had a beautiful home, 2 wonderful kids, and a life that looked like it was straight out of a magazine. But behind the perfect facade, a web of lies was being woven, so intricate that it took months for me to even notice. It started subtly. Mark began working late more often, citing big projects and demanding clients. He'd come home exhausted, smelling faintly of a perfume that wasn't mine. When I asked, he'd laugh it off. It must be from a client, honey. You know how people are with their fragrances. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? He was my Mark. Then there were the business trips, which became more frequent. He'd call, but the calls felt rushed, the background noises always strangely quiet for a bustling hotel lobby. He was always just about to head into a meeting. I tried to push the nagging feelings away. I was being paranoid, insecure. That's what he told me, gently, whenever I brought up my concerns. He'd hold my face in his hands and look into my eyes, telling me I was the only one for him. And like a fool, I'd melt, letting his reassurances wash over my doubts. I even started to feel guilty for questioning him. He was working so hard for our family, and here I was, accusing him of the unthinkable. The lies were a fortress, carefully constructed and reinforced daily. He had an answer for everything. A receipt for a fancy dinner I wasn't at? A client dinner, babe, I told you about it. A text from a number I didn't recognize with a simple heart emoji? Oh, that's just my sister. She's so extra. He was so good at it, so convincing that I started to question my own sanity. I felt like I was walking through a fog, unable to see the truth that was right in front of me. Then came the mistake. It wasn't a lipstick stain on his collar or a suspicious text message. It was something so small, so mundane that it was almost comical. One Saturday, Mark said he was going on a weekend fishing trip with his buddies. He packed his gear, kissed me and the kids goodbye, and drove off. I spent the weekend tidying up, and as I was cleaning out his car, I found it. Tucked under the passenger seat was a small glittery hair tie. The kind a child would wear. My heart stopped. We didn't have a daughter with long hair. My hair isn't glittery. I held the tiny elastic in my palm, and suddenly the fog began to clear. It was such a tiny, insignificant thing, but it was the one detail he had forgotten to manage. It was the loose thread. That night, I didn't confront him. I just waited. He came home Sunday evening, full of stories about the big one that got away. I smiled and nodded, my mind racing. The next day, armed with a new kind of clarity, I did some digging. I checked our phone records online, something I had never dreamed of doing before. There it was. A number he called and texted dozens of times a day, every day for months. I looked up the number, and it led me to a social media profile, a woman with her young daughter. A daughter with long blonde hair, often tied up with glittery hair ties, smiling in photos taken at places Mark was supposedly on business trips. It all came crashing down. The late nights, the weird smells, the rushed phone calls. The fortress of lies crumbled with the discovery of one single glittery hair tie. The truth was devastating, but in a way, it was also liberating. The gaslighting was over. I wasn't crazy. I was just a woman whose husband had made one tiny fatal mistake. Thank you for listening to my story. If you found this compelling, please like and subscribe for more.